on the list here. So there are 7 schools in ACC, which would be Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and North Carolina State, Miami, Virginia, Virginia Tech, that are nicknamed the Magnificent Seven. We're trying to get out of the ACC media rights deal. I think they have like 13 years left on this deal. It pays them around 35 million a year. Where you look at the SEC is getting around 100 million per school per year. That's a big difference. Now, to get out of this contract, you have to pay $120 million at this point. And so they're trying to get a bunch of teams together to see what they could do to get out of this rights deal. I personally don't see a way they do it unless some of them come up with the money. And if they come up with the money and pay it over time, they're really not going to make. I mean, it's not worth it to me for them to do that. But if they're able to get out of it, we're going to play the scenario that, hey, there's a magic wand and somebody wipes it. They don't have to pay 120 million. And these teams are able to get out. I want to talk about where do we think the best fit is for these particular schools if they're able to get out. Start first, kind of go around the room here. Clemson. I think there's an obvious fit, but I'll pass it over to you guys. So, Jess, you're Clemson. Where are you going?
Well, I feel like the obvious answer is the SEC, but I'm going to have that answer. I feel like for several of these teams, it would just make sense. So I think an interesting one would be the Big Ten. I mean, you guys are the Notre Dame fans here, much more so than me. I appreciate Notre Dame more now, but Notre Dame with USC going to the Big Ten there's been speculation that if Notre Dame is going to move on from being an independent, they join the Big Ten, and they seem, at least last year, this year, I'm not going to pretend I've been paying attention that much to Notre Dame the past decade or so. How often have they played Clemson? It seems to be now that back-to-back years here could be interesting. Clemson, Notre Dame, join with USC, UCLA, keep those rivalries, going. I think it could be interesting seeing Clemson in the Big Ten. Geographically, it doesn't make much sense, but neither does USC. So,
yeah, Jordan, what do you say? Best fit?
I mean, honestly, all these schools, like Jess said, SEC. Just to go off that, Notre Dame's basketball team has an ACC is in the ACC conference, and to get them to the ACC conference, the football team had to sign a contract that they played ACC schools. That's why they play Clemson every year.
Well, I mean, let's keep it going. It could be interesting. Clemson, Notre Dame, USC. I mean, if you get that, again, it already feels like it's Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12, and Big 12 distant thirds, as conferences go. So, let's just go all in. Let's go back to, what was it, the super conference ideas?
Yeah, I think Clemson, location-wise, SEC is the best bet for them. I think there's other schools on this list that, with Clemson being in South Carolina, they got that closer to the southern states. I think that staying there is going to be, the SEC is going to be the best bet for them, just because less travel. Don't have now the Big Ten. Now you play USC, you travel from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast for a Saturday game, and your players it's not going to be great for your players.
I mean, that's what's going to happen if USC has to play Rutgers or Maryland.
But that's different. I mean, you can beat Rutgers with 2 players on your team.
For the record, they need at least 5. All right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
At least a full offensive line.
Yeah.
And then you as quarterback.
I agree with you on Clemson. I think SEC tends to be the best fit. Honestly, I think, to your point, a lot of these teams make sense. I think let's do it this way. So, outside of these teams, which team on this list would make the best sense for the Big Ten? Obviously, we're looking at the 2 conferences and the Big 12. We can look at those 3 because I think those are the 3 that are trying to grow themselves here at the moment. So, out of all these, is there anybody that sticks out to you to fit in the Big Ten, and would anybody fit in the Big 12? So, I heard you, Jordan. Which one sticks out for either one of those conferences?
I think Virginia Tech, probably are the 2 best bets two, they're the closest up there to the Big Ten, basically. You could even throw in North Carolina State. But for me, Virginia Tech are the two schools I can see going to the Big Ten just because of location. Other than that, everyone else is so far south that it's like there's no point in not joining the SEC.
How about Big 12? Anybody? You think anybody on this list will be Big 12 worthy?
I mean, worthy wise, I think maybe Virginia Tech could get to that Big 12, but
because I'm thinking like West Virginia's there, right? So you have that natural rival there. But I think Virginia Tech fits a little more in the Big 12 to me than Virginia in the Big 10. But I don't know if they will want to break out that rivalry that they currently have. I think Virginia Big 10 is because they're a good academic institute, and that's usually what the Big 10 goes for. That's where I think Virginia kind of fits in there, or Virginia Tech's a little bit outside of that, but I think you can go anywhere there.
If they're trying to go for money, I feel like SEC Big 10 or where you want to go.
Well, yeah. Definitely, you got to think money and then success. Like, you don't want to be like, no offense, Rutgers was doing better before they went to the Big Ten, and now they're just kind of
true.
But they get more money. So is that
is
it more money or more success?
It doesn't do them much good, being that they suck every year.
Yeah.
So if we're talking absolutely ludicrous, not gonna happen scenario here,
don't say Miami. Don't say Miami.
No. I mean, well, the Miami, Florida State, definitely SEC. For no other reason than to get them playing Florida every year. But North Carolina and NC State to the AAC. Coming from ECU, we're always the little brother. We are an hour from NC State. Let's do this. Let's make every single year. Let's do this.
I think maybe more better for them is North Carolina State join ECU.
Hey, just make it the North Carolina conference. Duke. Bring in
all the schools in North Carolina. Just
one conference.
There you go.
Their own
let's
North Carolina, South Carolina have their own conference. They don't have to lead the two states.
Exactly. Like, geographically, it's perfect.
The Carolina
conference.
There you go. All right, we solved it. All right.
Yeah.
There you go, NCAA. We solved your conference.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot of states we can do that with.
Yeah. I mean, that would be so interesting to see.
And then they have a 50 state tournament at the end, and then see the best state is.
Yes. Just all of them combine into one team. Just like the Carolina team, the Alabama team, the Florida team, the Texas team, the California.
Well, I'm thinking more like there's a winner from the Carolina. So say it's North Carolina, they have to go play like the team from Florida in the first round, and the winner goes to the next round, and then there you go. Then you have an actual national champion that has to go for the whole country.
Well, what about? And we're gonna go over these schools like Wyoming, the state of Wyoming. There's only one team, I think, there.
How many are in North Dakota?
There's got to be more than one team in Wyoming. They're not very good, probably, but
give the FCS some love. Have North Dakota State, South Dakota State.
Everybody has a chance. Just combine all the different, divisions. So there you go.
That'd be interesting. But realistically, I agree with what Jordan said. The Virginia teams geographically are the only ones that would make sense to go into the Big Ten. But I definitely think it. Keep it interesting on the East Coast here. Let's do the AAC idea. They're going to make so much less money, but they're pretty much guaranteed to win. I mean, I'm pretty sure Cincinnati's talking about leaving if they haven't already. UCF,
they're in the Big 12 now.
Yeah, all these schools are leaving.
A lot of the AAC teams left to the Big 12, and they have new ones coming in. So
that's what I figured. I just wasn't sure if that had.
That's what I think the Big 12. Honestly, some of these schools I think would fit in that Big 12 model, especially like a basketball league they're becoming.
Oh yeah, Virginia Tech would definitely fit the Big 12 basketball. I mean, Virginia, it would.
Just think of that basketball league of Duke, North Carolina, Virginia Tech all joined. That would be like the best basketball league in the country. So.
I mean, the ACC historically has been really good, and being that the Big East no longer exists,
it does exist. And
well,
It does. They do pretty well. I mean, Connecticut just won the title this year.
I forgot that Connecticut's still in the Big
That's
East.
why this is not
basketball.
a college basketball podcast. We just talk college football here.
Oh yeah, getting back on track here.
But yeah, no, the only thing if I'm the Big Ten, might want to get into the Florida for recruiting purposes. So I don't know if Florida State really matches what the Big Ten wants to do, but I mean, I might be interesting to have a conversation just to see, because it'd be great to play Florida State and get around those Florida recruits more. And I think that's always something in the back of their mind as well. All right,
the U going again. That would be great for their brand. The U versus the bad boys of the U versus Michigan, Ohio State. That could be real interesting for their branding purposes, but.
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
all a pipe dream right now.
Yeah, no, definitely is. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. I don't see this happening for 13 years, so we have a little bit of time, I think.
We got a little time.
Little time. I'll probably be dead by then, so you guys will be continuing on the podcast name here.
Oh wow, that's a long time from now.
I hope you're not dead in 13 years.
Just live on in my memory, folks. Living on my memory. Okay.